Hello fragrance fans, and welcome to today's video where we will be discussing the top 10 blue fragrances that are not made by Dior or Chanel. All right, so let's jump into it. Now today's video, as all my videos are, they're uncut, they're unedited, they're raw, just usually the first take, and it goes unless I just really botch it up bad. So we're going to start with number 10, and we're going to give you some familiar ones and some not so familiar ones on this list. So with number 10 spot, we're going to go with from the house of Tommy Bahama. This is Set Sail Martinique, one that you probably wouldn't have thought that would be on this list, but to me it's my favorite one from the house. I like it better than St. Kitts, St. Bart's. They're all good. This is to me the most masculine. I sprayed in the lids. I'm gonna smell it real quick. Yeah, you get that definitely on the front end. There's that saltiness. The notes are iced bergamot, which is our friend Dan's favorite type of bergamot. There's fresh pepper. There's lavender in the mid, and the musk, and it says white woods. I guess they was just really being honest, didn't want to say sandalwood when there's no sandalwood in it, although I think a lot of companies do say there's sandalwood when there's not. But anyways, there is it's not really a waxiness, there's a dustiness to it, but it's very fresh. All of these fragrances are very fresh, they're very office safe. These are easy reaches, wear them every day, probably most of the year, but probably more in the spring and fall, probably safe in the winter. Some of these in the summer you might not want to spray on too heavy, but this is a very good one. If you don't have it or haven't smelled it, you can get a decant from Dillinger Designer Decants on eBay. Check it out. Number 10 spot, a Francis Kurkdjian fragrance, not his house obviously, but one he designed, and that is going to be Mr. Burberry. Mr. Burberry, the classic, the EDT. I think it was a 2016 release. Francis Kurkdjian was the nose. Top notes of grapefruit, tarragon, cardamom. I believe it is the mint and the working with the spices, the nutmeg, the tarragon, the cardamom, that gives it this little bit of a sea saltiness. Some people might not classify this as a blue fragrance. I do. I think it smells very similar to a lot of the fragrances on this list. Probably the most common that will be the number 2 pick. So you'll have to watch to the end to see what that is. Smells similar to it. Very office safe. Again, really good release. I'm gonna have to tighten these in here. Pack these in here tight. But number 9 spot, Mr. Burberry. All right, number 8 spot from the house of Salvatore Ferragomo, Aqua, Ascencio, Bleu. This is one that I like a lot. When I bought it, it's one of them that at first spray, I liked it. It's a little bit sweet for me, but it smells really good. Most people are gonna like it. My personal taste is that I like more spicy, woody fragrances than I do the sweet bubblegummy fragrance. This has a little bit of a bubblegum nature to it, but definitely a blue scent. Salty accords on the top. Ambroxan, you're going to notice ambroxan, salty accords, and lavender and tonka. You're going to notice those same notes in most of these fragrances. You've got lemon, bergamot, lavender, cedar, tonka, some of the notes listed. This is an Alberto Marias designed fragrance. He's on the list a lot. Probably the best designer nose as far as, in my opinion, and of course his are big sellers too. That's the number 8 spot, Aqua Ascencio Bleu. The number 7 spot, going to be a little bit of a shocker. It's the original blue fragrance, the one that started them all, Davidoff Cool Water. Interesting note, Davidoff, the only fragrance house to take up 2 spots on my list today. Okay, Davidoff Cool Water. It's a late 80s. I think it was an 88 release. Smells like green Irish tweed. Pierre Bourdon is the nose. Reportedly, he's the nose behind green Irish tweed as well, and pretty much got raw at the House of Creed for not giving him the credit he deserved on it, and went and took his formula to Davidoff, and this was a bombshell in the 80s and 90s. Definitely Davidoff's #1 seller of all time. And let me tell you something again, I said this and I've featured it in a few of my videos. I know it's an older fragrance. I know some of you wore this so much in the 80s and 90s that you thought, oh, I can't wear this anymore. Go back and smell it. It's good enough to still wear in 2021 and beyond. C notes: lavender, mint, sandalwood, neroli, jasmine, musk, oak moss, cedar. Some of the notes there. Davidoff Cool Water, the original Eau de Toilette, is in a #7 spot. #6 spot from the house of John Varvatos. One that you probably thought you'd see on here, it's Artisan Bleu. This is one of my favorites on the list. Again, I sprayed the cap, so I'm gonna take it off and smell it. This was another one that at first whiff, I liked it immediately, really liked it a lot. You've got bergamot. There's a basil note there in the top that gives it a little bit of that herbaceous feel. Lavender, orange blossom, iris, clary sage, which is our friend Dan's favorite type of sage. Pine and cedar in the base. This is a smooth, one of the smoother, to my nose, again, there's a little bit of a synthetic edge to it, but it is one of the smoother ones in the whole list. The top notes don't jump out and bite you like they may do on Aqua, Ascencio, Bleu, or some of the other ones that we haven't got to yet, but definitely a very, very, very good one at the #6 spot, Artisan Bleu. One of the ones that I can wear the most. The 5 spot, another blue. This is Versace Pour Homme, and it's a Dylan Bleu. A lot of people don't know this is a flanker to their original Versace Pour Homme. This is Dylan Bleu, another Alberto Marias fragrance. Top notes, Calabrian bergamot, which alongside of ice bergamot is our friend Dan's one of his favorite type of bergamot. You've got grapefruit, you've got watery notes, ambroxan, patchouli, black pepper. This one lists incense, musk, and of course tonka. What you're going to get the most out of that on that top, you get that. I really love it. Once the initial sprays on all of these have faded, 30 seconds in, these are all fantastic. This is one of the best ones. You get that peppery, citrusy top there. You can smell the ambroxan. It's got that little bit of sharpness, that little bit of fizziness that makes it jump off the skin. The musk and the tonka stick out on this. It's sweet, but it's not too sweet. This is a great signature scent. Again, that's #5 spot, Dylan Bleu by Versace. The #4 spot, our other one in our from the house of Davidoff. This is the new release for 2021, Cool Water Parfum. And you can see there's already a good dent in that bottle. Some of it's me wearing it, some of it is just by decanting it out. Jean-Christophe Hérault is the nose behind it. Top notes, lemon, pink pepper. You've got our friend Dan's favorite type of vetiver, Haitian vetiver in the mid there. Sandalwood. It doesn't have many notes listed. You can smell ambroxan, you can smell the lavender, you can smell the musk. Those work together to produce that blue kind of sea notey accord. It smells totally different than the original Cool Water. Don't think if you don't like the original that you're not going to like this one. This one is very similar to Dior Sauvage. Of course, Sauvage and Bleu de Chanel, we're leaving off the list because they would probably make everyone's top 10 list, probably usually #1 and #2. This one smells very, very close to Dior Sauvage, but may not be the actual closest one when it's all said and done. That's a great one, Cool Water Parfum. Check it out. You can get samples of that from me as well. Number 3 spot from the house of Missoni, and that is their Pour Homme. This one is, it's gotten some good publicity, but I think it's vastly underrated. This is a great fragrance. If you like Chanel fragrances, this smells like a Chanel fragrance. In fact, it smells like 2 Chanel fragrances. It smells like Bleu de Chanel in the opening and the middle, and once it dries down, there's still that Bleu de Chanel DNA there, but it dries down a lot like Platinum Egoist. It doesn't have oak moss listed in the notes. I was surprised. Grapefruit, lemon, lavender in the top, apple, jasmine in the mid, birch, oak, sandalwood, musk. I'm going to assume that the oak and the musk, that they're working together somehow to create kind of that oak moss accord in the dry down. But that is definitely one. Listen, if you've never smelled this one and you like Chanel fragrances, or you like any of the ones I've mentioned, you ought to grab this because it's very affordable. Get a decant from me, make sure you like it, but I think you will. That's the number 3 spot, Missoni Pour Homme. Number 2 spot from the house of Giorgio Armani, it's Profumo. This is another Alberto Morillas fragrance. He was the nose behind it. Top notes are C notes, bergamot. I was shocked to find out there was rosemary in this because I do not like rosemary. I don't like it in my food. I don't like to smell it. I don't smell it in this fragrance. I think that's why I like it. It must be either blended so well with something else that it don't stick out to me, or it's so small that it don't stick out. But I don't smell it. Sage, incense, and patchouli. This is a great office scent. It's a great signature scent. 3 years ago, this was my signature scent. 2 years ago, my signature scent was Dior Sauvage. I know you're thinking, man, you don't really, reach out there. I have to, for my signature scents, I have to wear things that appeal to my spouse. Some colognes and perfumes you wear for yourself, but a lot of times you wear them for others. And this is a great signature scent. The number 1 spot, not from the house of Dior, not from the house of Chanel, but from the house of Prada. Prada Luna Rasa Carbon. This is a fantastic fragrance, y'all. It's been getting some hate lately. I don't know why. It was a darling for such a long time. When people who was wanting to hate on Sauvage, they would love on this. When I first bought it, I didn't like it because I had just gotten over COVID and I couldn't smell it. All I could smell was it just smelled like a weak version of Sauvage. About 2 months later, once my nose started working again, this became my signature scent. This is my 2nd bottle. I've already put a good dent in it. And so my 2nd bottle in a year. You say that means that you wear too much cologne. No, if you're watching this video, you would never say that. But even owning over 100 and something different colognes, I've still went through an entire bottle, and I'm on my 2nd bottle. I love it. Bergamot, pepper, lavender, metallic notes, coal, watery notes, ambroxan, patchouli. It smells like what Dior Sauvage should have smelled like to me. Sauvage, it smells like Sauvage. What it did to me, it made Sauvage obsolete. To me. Now, I still wear it a lot because my wife loves it. Sauvage is still my number 1 most complimented fragrance. But to me, it took Sauvage, the Sauvage DNA, and it does smell very similar, more so than the Cool Water Parfum. This smells more like Sauvage, but it gives it that lavender note. It just smells so much better. To me, it's the absolute number 1 best blue fragrance that you can buy. Hands down, no questions. There it is, top 10. Let me know in the comments what you think. Please like and subscribe to my channel. We are the smallest fragrance channel on YouTube. We've got like 5 subscribers. Share our videos, let somebody else know about us, and so that they can help. All right, thank you, God bless, and we'll see you later.